So what I said is that leads us to the past, what we want to get past from the
Yes.
past,
Yes. That is
which is
the theme of the day, which is what?
the CAA.
Yes. Yes,
The
indeed.
first ever, the first ever, the first original, the only number one
Mm-hmm.
proposed amendments from the first Congress.
That's right. The very first proposed amendment. Yes. Article the first, they call it.
They did.
Um,
They called them articles, which is weird to me. They did not really call them amendments.
right. And so to do this, to talk about it, I kind of want to jump back to about 2 weeks ago when when I posted about it on Twitter and my response that I got, which was good. It was a tweet that got some interest, but it had people give some surprising responses, and it led me to discover that there is a movement already for the same purpose online, but this movement isn't about passing Article the First. It's about uncapping the house. That's what they call themselves. So shout out, hello everyone in the Uncap the House Reddit thread. Sorry, if it's not really called a Reddit, it's just called, yeah, the Uncap the House subreddit or Reddit. I don't really know Reddit very well, so if I get some of the Reddit slang wrong, then apologies. But shout out and hello, thank you for sharing our video, and thank you to whoever posted our video on that Reddit. We discovered the article, the first congressional apportionment amendment, while researching Article 5 and the history of amendments, and now we feel that it is the most practical and would be the most effective thing that we could do right now to save this country, for many reasons, and we'll go into those again. But basically, we need representation, which we don't have right now.
We really don't. And the thing about the Uncap the House movement, and I want to give them a little more of a shout out in the sense of not talking just about uncapping how many U.S. members we have,
Mm-hmm.
but we have to really look at how sort of we allow a certain way of which voting for a very small number of people gets to represent a very large number of people. The
Mm-hmm.
one that they were talking about is like, let's take the Los Angeles City Council. Like, how many people do they represent?
Mm-hmm.
And there's only like five or six of them, I think. And
Yes.
I mean, I think the city of Los Angeles has something like, I think, 4 million people in it
Mm-hmm.
or more. I mean,
A lot.
so a lot. It used to have, I think, the city at one time I was told had 9 million. It might still have 9 million. That was like when I lived there. Might still have 9. I'm thinking if that's a city or what they call the whole area. You know what I mean? So I don't know, but we'd have to look. But it's a bunch, and it's sort of like that is unrealistic as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because how would you even know what kind of a city council person that you're going to get before that? Because they can only really probably meet you through TV ads. And that
Mm-hmm.
is the whole problem of how people run campaigns in
Mm-hmm.
America because they have to. I mean, a lot of times you're forced to do ads because there is no other way to reach your constituents
Mm-hmm.
or your prospective voters or whoever you want
Right.
to talk to at that time. Right.
Well, we just
And
saw back
go
to
ahead.
that Ohio 11th special election that just happened, where one side raised like 5 million in dirty money, and the other side raised like 2.5 or 3 million or something from, small dollar donors. I mean, it shouldn't take that kind of money, and I've heard similar, outrageous numbers for like the LA City Council and things like that too. Little seats that have so much power, it needs to be spread out, basically, is what I'm saying. We all see that. It needs to be spread out among a greater representative body so that it's not so that each one doesn't have so much power that it's unattainable for an average citizen. So, but that being said, so I'm not trying to criticize the Uncap the House movement, but I think what you're saying is there should be a larger movement to just increase the size of all these governing bodies, and I think that's
what they really want to do.
Right.
Uncap the House doesn't want to just uncap the U.S. House. They
Right.
want to uncap these other things.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the shout out, yes, that I was
Yes.
giving to them about that.
But now,
Because
if I
go ahead.
may, I would like to make some suggestions, because I think it's too easy to get unfocused and get all
Right.
diffuse your energy in too many directions. And in my opinion, and I think you agree with me, the most direct way to get what we want is Article the First, pass that congressional apportionment amendment. Not only is it the closest, it's the closest thing to passing as far as amendments right now, because it already has 11 states have ratified it. It's already through Congress and has 11 states. So, and now that leads me to the criticism I got on Twitter, or not criticism, but somebody said that unfortunately there's two different versions of the of Article the First. One came out of the House and one came out of the Senate. And when they said that, I said, well, what's wrong with just having 27 more states pass the same language that was already passed by 11 states? And that person didn't respond to that. They just liked my comment. So I think that works. I mean, there's honestly no argument. You just say, well, George Washington sent the version to the states that's already passed by 11 states. So we're just going to keep ratifying that one in all the states. And if we get 27 more and we get to 34, and then, I don't know, the Supreme Court or somebody tries to step in and say,
38. We got to get 38.
Well, yeah, 27 more to make it. Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, 27 more to make
You
it
have to get
38.
it.
Then if somebody says, we have to go back and, rewrite it because the House and Senate passed different versions back in 1789 or whenever it was, then I'll say, well, then you're telling George Washington, the first president, that he didn't know what he was doing when he sent it out to the states. He knew what he was doing. Anyways, there's several reasons why. It's not just because it's the closest one to passing as far as an amendment. The other reason is it's a bold and it's a big change. If we got the
There's a lot of risk involved. We will admit there's.
sorry, can't understand you. You're breaking up.
I said there's risk. There's always a risk involved with these bold changes, but
Yes,
you have to decide.
there may be some risk, but I see. Yeah, I mean, so the risk is, well, there would be something like 6,200 or something around that members of the House of Representatives if Article the First passed. The CAA. If the CAA passed, you'd have 50,000 constituents in every House district, which would give you, if you divide 350 million, the population of America, divided by 50,000 for each House district, you would get something like 6,000 and change representatives. And so that may be unruly, but I see no reason to worry about that because we now have modern technology that would make it easy to manage a larger governing body like that. And it's supposed to be representative of the population. So I think 50,000 is where it should stop. People on the Uncap the House Reddit have talked. They talked about these other things, the Wyoming rule, because Wyoming is the smallest state or something, or the square root of something rule, the square root rule. And I think, guys, that that is all getting into the weeds, and that is not what the movement should be focused on. That's actually really distracting and potentially harmful to the movement to talk about those kind of things. I think as a movement, what our focus should be is push for as low of a number for House representatives as we can possibly get. So that would mean if we were trying to get legislation passed, I would say shoot for 30,000, which is what the Constitution says is the bottom limit. If you're trying to push...
Well, not really. You can't. Oh,
Yeah.
well, because in that Article 1, it says once you get over 100 U.S. House members, then you bump it up to 40,000. That's how it...
Yeah, that's how that's how the Congressional Apportionment Amendment reads.
Okay.
So my first push would be the Congressional Apportionment Amendment. That's my number one. I say that should be our main focus. If people want to focus on pressuring Congress, like if passing the Congressional Apportionment Amendment through several states leads to Congress taking interest and wanting to write their own amendment, I say as a movement we should push for the lowest number possible, which in Article 1 of the Constitution, yes, the lowest number
30,000.
allowed is 30,000. And the reason why you should push for the extreme ask is so that when they negotiate a different number, it's closer to your terms. It's lower than what it will end up being, because that's how you negotiate. You come in with your biggest offer and then you meet somewhere in the middle. But so for us, it's the lowest offer, and then we meet somewhere in the middle, and we want that low number of constituents per district, so we get the most representation. Now, I see a lot of these. I see a website that came up, and I don't want to shit on them too hard, but I think this We the People Represented, I've been looking into this super PAC for the Congressional Apportionment Amendment. It says right there on their homepage, the first line of text, forming a more perfect union from an imperfect start, double the United States House of Representatives, period, uncap the House, period. So right there, their starting ask is to double the United States House. That's weak sauce. It's not enough.
That's not enough.
So I don't know. I don't get that.
That's not enough. It's not enough.
No. If you're going to ask for legislation, you should push for as low of a number as possible.